I'm here to take care of your real estate investment as long as you need me. And I think that's setting the guidelines to open the door to say, I am going to connect with you. And that's important right from the very beginning. And it doesn't have to be a big connection, but we all want to be able to know that we're appreciated. What person doesn't want to know that, hey, their hard-earned money went to somebody who appreciated it and continues to help them appreciate it? So I think that's the big mindset we have to get around connecting with our past clients. We're not bothering them if we're creating a relationship and we're showing them value.
Hey, Jack Lehr here. I'm down in the Lehr, and we have the Lehr Podcast today. Have an amazing guest with me. This young lady came into my life a little over a year ago, and I'm going to introduce you to Kay Fairchild.
Hey, Jack, it's great to be with you today.
So one promise, Kay. One promise.
Yes.
Can you bring lots of energy?
I'm going to do my best to bring as much energy as you, which is not an easy feat.
Okay, very good. So, Kay, I'm super grateful that you're here today. And so Kay is my coach and our team's coach. She's within the Tom Ferry organization, but Kay does a lot more than just that. Okay. So we're going to get into not just the coaching aspect of it, but also the stuff that, Kay's experienced and the way that she's helped others and some crazy high level achievers, like big names. She's not going to name them because, that's that, confidentiality thing, but she's been associated and she's coached some big teams and big names in the industry from the left coast to the East Coast, right?
Absolutely. I've been doing this for a very long time and love what I do.
So, Kay, a little bit about your background and like where you came from.
Okay. Well, I started out in Kansas City, Missouri, moved to Washington, D.C., did real estate there for 4 or 5 years, and then moved to South Carolina, where I did real estate there for 25 years, became the trainer for the organization that I'm with the Tom Ferry organization, and had the opportunity to move to California. So I've been here about 4 years now, stepped out of training and started doing some other stuff that I had a passion about while I'm still doing my coaching for Tom.
You left out so many details.
Well, that's kind of an overview, right?
Okay. I think weren't you like a NFL cheerleader at one time?
Well, yes, I was a cheerleader for the Kansas City Chiefs long ago.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, but she did way more than that. It's like when you were in real estate and you were were you a producing agent? Were you running a team, a brokerage? What did that look like?
Great. That's a great question. So yes, in my 25 years in real estate, I started out in Washington, D.C., and then we had an opportunity to move to South Carolina. So when I went to work in Lexington, they didn't even have teams then. My husband and I, they actually said that we had to be separate agents. So we actually found a brokerage that would let us be a team. So I actually started working out with another company and was coaching. So our first year, we did 67 transactions. Our second year in business together, we did 85. Within our fourth year, we were in the top 1% of all realtors in the United States. So we built a team from there. And, we used to laugh our commission in South Carolina. It took 100 transactions just to break even. So we went consistently up, and over the course of about a 5-year period, we peaked at 263 transactions. And at that point, we decided that we came up with what our sweet spot was. What was the most profitability with the least amount of production, which leveled out to be about 160. So we hung in that 160 to 200 mark for several years with a team of 4.
Very nice. So very nice high production. And I think that's one of the big things is like a lot of times coaches get into coaching and they don't have the experience. Like they learn, and not that they can't be a great teacher, because I've had incredible coaches that never stepped on the field to play a football that were some of the most dynamic motivators, and then they studied the game. But Kay, you don't only study the game, you actually come from like production and building a team and knowing your sweet spot, right?
Absolutely. And I think that makes the best coaches. Experience is the best part. So I also worked in different brokerages along that road before we built our team, being a broker. Then we opened our own brokerage, became a broker owner. That's how we started building the team. So I think experience is always the best teacher. And, real estate is real estate. It's interesting. It's always the same, and yet it's always changing. So there's lots of experience that goes along with it. Then you get into building the team, managing the team, hiring, firing. If you're in that world, there's a whole lot involved in it.
Yeah. So when we were making a transition within the Tom Ferry world, so I had an incredible coach to begin with. I'll name him, Jared Davis, was in Team Plus for a couple years. It was a good transition. Like, timing was perfect for me to step out of coaching for a little bit. And I don't recommend that, but like for where I was in our world, it made sense in that time frame. And then, like, not that much longer, came back into coaching, was coached by somebody else, and then realized that, hey, we probably outgrew that person, and now it's time to make a change. And we actually were gonna we wanted to make a switch. We just want to interview and see who else was out there. But connected with Kay out at Summit, which was last October of 21 in Dallas. And Sarah and I sat down with Kay, and I knew within like 20 minutes that Kay was the right person to enter my world. Okay. And Kay is this super humble individual, but the things that she provided me in 20 minutes in value, I probably got more in 20 minutes than I did my previous year in coaching. And again, every coach is different. Everybody, and also the student has to be ready as well. And maybe it was a Jack problem, maybe it was a Sarah problem, but ultimately the timing was right. And Kay came into our world and kind of like just blew me away with some of the stuff you were sharing. And I was like, I didn't even think about that. My focus back then was, hey, let's just go out, let's create, like, we have hardcore sales process, and it's not high pressure either. It's a Sandler sales system. But I knew we were missing something, and Kay brought that to my attention, and it's that past client, right? And right. A lot of folks that are watching this are in real estate. Not all of them are, but this is something that could apply to almost any business, is the past client, and doing a calculation and going, oh my gosh, like, you're not just missing the boat.
It was painful, wasn't it?
It was very painful to do that calculation and understand the revenue that's being lost on an annual basis by just focusing on, let's help this client, let's help this client, let's help this client, and then forget about helping that client in the future, because they know folks as well. So, right. Kay, some things that can help others out there, that'd be wonderful if you'd share.
Sure, absolutely. And I'd love to. And here's the thing we've got to remember. 80% of agents never reconnect with their past clients. 80% of agents never reconnect with their past clients. And I always ask the question, why? Why? Because when they could have chosen any agent to work with in their city, they chose you. Because of their sacrifice with their commission check to you, you now are able to support your family. So in my mind, it's always been an obligation to say, you were willing to support my family when I needed you. Let me continue to help you with the biggest real estate investment you probably have at that time, right? So I've never been a real estate agent. I've never been a realtor. I've always been a real estate consultant. So we open up the doors right away to say, as a consultant, just like your doctor takes care of you physically, your CPA takes care of your finances, I'm here to take care of your real estate investment as long as you need me. And I think that's setting the guidelines to open the door to say, I am going to connect with you. And that's important right from the very beginning. And it doesn't have to be a big connection, but we all want to be able to know that we're appreciated. What person doesn't want to know that, hey, their hard-earned money went to somebody who appreciated it and continues to help them appreciate it? So I think that's the big mindset we have to get around connecting with our past clients. We're not bothering them if we're creating a relationship and we're showing them value. We're not taking, we're giving. And I think that makes the difference. Mindset first.
Yeah, mindset. I think that's really important. And I want you to share some things that you're helping us out with that'd be very helpful. And the thing is, I know that when I coach folks in my world and help try to build them up, most won't do the things necessary to get to the levels that they say they want to get to. So if you follow this next little bit of advice, it will make a big difference in your revenue and your growth of your business. And again, the easiest way to grow a business is your current clients and asking them for an introduction. We get in the real estate world or realtors, I hear, oh, I want a referral. I want a referral. What does that look like? A lot of times that referral means, oh, can you just tell me the name of your friend, and maybe they'll hopefully, if I mention your name, maybe they'll go ahead and use me for the next real estate transaction. We like to ask for that true introduction, right? Like, hey, would you be so kind to like introduce me to somebody in your world that's looking to buy, sell, invest, and get that connection. So Kay, adopting a client and adopting the home you just sold, would you share? Because this is like, if people use this, it will make a difference in your revenue and your business.
So there are two places that most agents lose the most amount of money. What you just talked about, working with their past clients, understanding we're not trying to take, we're not trying to bother, we're trying to continue to give great service that we originally gave them. The second part of that is adopting a client. In other words, every time you have a listing, you never let that listing go. It doesn't matter what buyer came in or out of that home is yours forever. Remember, again, 80% of the agents are never going to go back and connect with that client. You know more about that home than anyone else out there. So how easy is it to be of service to that person in that home and say, hey, Jack, thank you so much for buying my listing. I'm the listing agent here on 123 Banana Lane. And my commitment to you, as long as you're in this home, is to continue to show you how it's growing in equity. Let me help you in the neighborhood to become a part of the neighborhood. I'm here to make sure that your real estate needs are met as long as we're working together. And then you simply, you did this. My highest thought process is, and the highest return is to meet these people face to face. Go to their home after closing and introduce, so they know if there's a problem with that home, who do they call? It's natural for them to call you, right? And keep up with them. I've got people that are doing this now, and they've had homeowners in their adopt a client for less than a year, and they're getting referrals from those people because their agent has abandoned them. They know people who need to buy and sell, but they don't know who to refer them to. You're the one that's right there. You're the one that's made that connection. So you're also picking up their referrals. Then once you make that connection with them, introduce yourself, then you can put them right in your past client system and continue to connect with them just as if they're one of your past clients. And here's what you got to remember. People are still moving every 5, 7, 9 years. This is your future inventory. If you had been doing this 5, 6 years ago, inventory shortage happened, you've got all these people you could have gone back to say, you've been in this home 5 years, 6 years, look at the equity you've gained. Are we ready to move on? It's your future inventory. That's why you hold on to it.
So I love that. So a lot of times people go, well, I didn't do it before, and like, why even start now? Or my gosh, like we get so caught up in what we didn't do and what we can do to build something special. Because if you're going to build this future for yourself, do the things necessary. Like, when's the best time to plant a tree? Like 20 years ago. When's the best time to adopt a client? At least 5 or 6 years ago, or whenever you started. If you're not going to do that, like, let's do it today. Like, right. At least maybe you forget about those, last 3 years that you sold homes to, and you just start today.
Well, you got to remember, absolutely, you can start today, but we're only in August. How many homes have you sold from January through today that you could now go back to those adopted clients and say, now that you've been in your home 6 months or 3 months or a month, how is it going? I was the listing agent, and now I wanted to touch base with you and see how things are going. You could even go back to last year and say, hey, now that you've been in this home 18 months, I wanted to connect with you, make sure the house is doing well, everything's showing up the way you want it to be. You can go back much further than you think and create this relationship with these people.
Yeah, I mean, these are golden nugget diamonds in your own backyard, super simple stuff. And guess what? Most don't even show up.
Right. Well, in this market, I'm hearing so many of my clients, so many agents out there are really in a panic. We've gotten used to, for the last 2 years, business just falling in our lap. And now everything is hard and they don't know what to do or how to do. But you're right. There's a lot of business laying around us. We have to be willing to get out of our comfort zone, right? Get our mindset straight. I'm always about get out of your emotions and get your head in gear as CEO of your business and go out and make these easy connections that are going to get you business immediately. How many of those people know people in real estate that they can refer you right now today? That's easier, making the business easier than having a cold call or door knock or some of those things people just don't want to do.
And Kay makes it sound so simple, and quite frankly, it really is. But think about like the business that my teams have given up over the years by not adopting a client. But now we started that process, and it's easy. Like even if you just go back to the beginning of the year, and we've done a lot of transactions even in 2022, or even if we go back to 2021 where we did a boat ton as well. Just take those 2 years and then just keep moving forward. Don't get caught up in 6-7 years ago. I think that's when we first started this. We were so focused on going back 7 years and going, oh my gosh, like certainly in 8, I think we're over 2,700 clients that we've serviced and helped over the last like 8-ish years. And that can be very overwhelming. Let's just go back to the beginning of the year or maybe even last year and just start that process. So there's hope for even me, and there seems to be hope for everybody out here, right?
Well, I think the whole goal is to create the system now. If you're going to do big business, every lead source you have has to have a system to it. Otherwise, you're going to get all caught up and get lost in the minutia. Start right now today. What is my system to create, to adopt a client? Here's when I go and meet them at the door. Here's when I leave them a letter. Here's when I meet them and talk to them at the 30 or the 60 day or the 90-day period. Then I can treat them like a past client. But you're absolutely right. It's getting over the mindset of what are they going to think? Here's what you got to remember. What are they going to think if you don't? More importantly, how much money are you losing because you're not? Past client benchmark, you should be getting at least a minimum of 10% of your income from your past clients. In other words, if you've got 100 past clients, you should be getting 10 repeat and referral deals a year minimum. Now, you can use that same thing with your adopted clients. You should be getting at least 10% referral or repeat from them once you get that built up. In my mind, that's easy money. That's money that you can work on every day. And if you're not doing it, can you imagine having 10% more income in 2 different streams of your business by the end of the year? For a lot of people, that's what, 60, 70, $100,000? That's worth it for me to go make those connections. What could I be doing with the money I'm going to make because I made these simple adjustments to clients that I'm already aware of?
So, you coach a lot of folks. You have a lot of coaching clients within Tom Ferry organization, correct?
Yes.
Like
I've been doing this a while.
but you have a lot that like they want to be on case schedule and they like beg and they're like, they call me and say, how can I get on this case schedule? I go, I might be able to help, but I probably can't. Maybe I can. I don't know. But it's pretty full. So Kay has these clients, and like, let's talk about this year right now. So that like a lot of them are struggling with respect to just mindset is back in 2021, 2020, where again, it just fell in your lap and, maybe there's 20 offers and maybe you got a couple accepted here and there and you still did good business. But now you have to compete a little bit higher and people are getting so caught up in like interest rates, but it's still money's super daggone cheap. And people still have to move. There's deaths, there's divorces, there's job changes, there's family situation changes. There's people getting married all the time. People, right. There's all these things that are happening. So there's always a need for housing, correct?
Yes, there has never been a time in history when there wasn't real estate being bought or sold since we've started tracking it. Never in time in history. So there's always real estate going on, always.
So during those times, have there always been people that have gotten out of the business because I call it self-furloughing because they changed the mindset in a bad way and they just say, maybe this isn't for me. But you also have the other side where let's just say somebody's brand new coming into the industry right now going, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to be in real estate. Like I've watched HGTV or whatever the things we
yes,
get
the life of the luxury. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I've watched $1 Million Listing and I just like the way Frederick kicks his feet. Or Sir Hunt does this. okay, I get to hear that all the time from people. Oh, and I got to go make $1 million. Well, like, you certainly can, but they forget the hard work. So people get into this industry thinking that it's just, I see people making lots of money on TV, and like they forget about the hard work that comes alongside of it. Like, what's your experience with folks that join coaching? Like they come into Tom Ferry coaching, they're brand new into it, and are expectations real, or what does it look like when you're coaching?
Well, I always have that honest conversation with them right off the bat, because you're right. I kind of kid them and say, so you drank the Kool-Aid. You think you're going to make a lot of money and do a lot of nothing, right? This is by far one of the toughest careers that you could get into. There's an 80% turnover of people getting out of the business in 5 years or less. Mainly for that reason, they don't know what to do. And most brokerages aren't training them on what to do. That's why real estate coaching has become so popular. So absolutely, first and foremost, I always suggest get a real estate coach. But remember, this is not just real estate. This is business. So the very first thing we work on is mindset, right? You've got to have the right mindset. This is not, I'm going to try real estate. You will fail. This is do or die, because it's going to take 100% commitment. And like any business, it's going to take you 3 to 5 years to really get your feet on the ground, because you have to learn your skills. You have to learn what you don't know. You've got to build a mindset. You've got to build a budget. This is a real business. This is just not, if you want to make the 6 figures that we're talking about, this is just not, I'm going to do this part-time and work with the family and hope for the best. If you want 6 figures and longevity, you've got to come in with a strong mindset. You've got to know that this is a business that you're going to have to work and work hard until you can get it off the ground. And it's a people industry. We're here to be of service to people. So that means we're ultimately more than realtors. We're problem solvers. That's really what we do most of the time. We are by far most of our business in getting the contract negotiated and getting it closed. Our job is to solve problems. That's why I'm adamant when I talk to people, you got to leave your emotions at home. Your emotions in this business will tear you apart. People are hiring you for your logic. You're to be the calming effect in any event. Yeah. So that's the one thing I start training them right off the bat. You've got to have a tough mindset. You've got to come in and know you've got to learn your skills. You're going to spend some extra time. And know that if you're dedicated to this, just like any business, not only can you succeed, you can make more money than doctors, than lawyers, than congressmen. I mean, it's incredible the money you can make at this. It's amazing. But nothing is going to come easy. That's why they call it growing pain, not growing pleasure. You earn it. And this is the one occupation where your efforts are in direct correlation to your income. Think about that. Your efforts are in direct correlation to your income. So the harder and smarter you work, the more money you're going to make. So.
I love it, Kay. And we're going to get into something that's really near and dear to Kay, and helping people achieve at very, very high levels real shortly. But I do want to ask you this, so you're coaching, folks, and, some listen, some don't, or some are ready, some aren't. What's one of the biggest disappointments that you've experienced in coaching a client or clients? Obviously not giving names, but you've definitely gone through experiences. What did that look like?
Sure. Well, for most of us, for all the coaches I know, we don't coach for the money. You can always make more money in real estate. But where I'm coming from is I've had great coaches along the way who have loved me, patted me on the back, and kicked me right square in the butt till I got to my goals. Because of that, it changed the legacy of myself and my family forever. So when you go into coaching, it's a commitment. It's of love and caring. So when I have people come into my schedule, I always want the best for them. And you're as a coach in football with great kids along the way, you've helped other people in real estate. You do get close to those people and you see what their potential could be. They haven't scratched the surface of what they could do. And yet you always have that few that no matter how hard you try, they don't want to work, or they're distracted, or they don't have enough confidence in themselves. And the old saying, I can lead them to water all day long, but I can't make them drink. And there's in the movie The Guardian with Kevin Costner, he was there was that great line where they were saving people from drowning. There with the Coast Guard, and they kept asking him, how many people did you save? How many people did you save? And I love the great line at the end. He said, I never remembered how many I saved. I only remembered how many I didn't. So I think that's it. As a coach, I'm always looking at how, if I have one drop from time to time, what did I do? What couldn't I have done? We always go out to that heart to know, is there anything else I could have done? Because oftentimes those are the same people that give up on themselves and go back to working a 9 to 5 and never reach their financial potential because they never reach their human potential.
So let's talk about a success story. Like, you've probably had somebody that went from rags to riches, or just like mindset from down the gutter to something extraordinary. Share that.
So, well, you always have those great people that have come in and wanted to be coachable. Yes, I think of a great gal I have here in California, and she came to me 2 years ago, and she was very shy, and she was very quiet and very reserved and didn't want to bother anybody. But I knew she had great potential. Matter of fact, in my world, I really do specialize more in women and in husband and wife teams, especially women, because women don't often stand into their power. They don't, it's almost to some degree frowned upon, if a woman comes across with great power in our society today. She's still thought of, they call them names. She's this, or this. Men are strong. They're powerful. Women are biatches, right? So she came to me, and over the course of the year, I started helping her build her tools. Let's build your listing presentation. Let's go over it over and over and over again. Let's work with your buyer presentation over and over. I helped her hire an assistant. Long story short, over the course of 2 years, she went from 0 to closing 75 transactions. And last year, she had over $1 million GCI in 2 years, because she got out of her own head, her own comfort zone. She was coachable and just went straight to the top. Those are the fun things that you really just can't help but be so grateful and so happy for them.
So I know a lot of your coaching clients. I kind of want to guess who I think this is, but I'm not going to do that. I think it's this person, and I think she's pretty up and amazing. Anyway, maybe I'm talking about the wrong person, but anyway, it's a case like, I'm not telling, and you're not supposed to. That confidentiality of the coaching side. So I appreciate that, Kay, because if she shared the stuff that she, like the stupidity that you have to put up with me and our team, I mean, the closet, please don't. Thank you. No, we have a great time together, but
we do.
So
we
Kay,
have great fun.
You came into our world, and like, what are some things that you're doing to help us?
Well, so we talked about, really sitting down with you and looking at the past clients that you guys have let go and building that team. We talked about adopt a client. As you're building teams all around the country, and I've told you this, and I'm happy to say this out loud, I've had many, many people come to me over the years, because I've been coaching 20 years now, and they all want to build a team and then build it all across the country. And I looked at you and said, you're the only person I have ever worked with that I honestly and truly believed could do that. And I still believe that today. What I love in helping you with is, how do we make this work over and over and over again? So I've had great fun with you and Sarah and helping you guys. First of all, you being an introvert, and I love where you're at today. Look at you. You've done an amazing job. But being able to help other team leaders be able to build teams across the country and help these people, again, enrich their own lives and the agents' lives that they bring on. So what you're doing and what we're doing, we're able to duplicate across the country. Not many people can do that. It takes a special kind of man and team to get that done. And you've done an amazing job. And, I just consider it a privilege to be along for the ride and be able to help you, kind of show you where the holes are and help you fill them in and build it to the next level. I know you haven't even scratched the surface yet of what you want to do. So that's the fun for me.
Yeah, we're just getting started here, and Kay's been an integral part of just helping us understand the potential. But I will share, and I'm not going to get emotional, but this is one of those things, Kay, that like a big difference maker in my life. There's two really incredibly special people, Sarah and yourself, who just really put that extra self-belief, and Kelly, quite frankly, too. So there's a handful of people that just put this extra belief in me to help me get outside of my comfort zone, stop being a little, you know what you said, biatch, because I was being that. I was so caught up in what other people would think. I was, those cab driver number 3 and bartender, bouncer number 5, those people that are not important in your life, and giving them so much credence, credibility. So that, that was one of the biggest changes in my life, is that, Kay just said, you need to step into your power and stop being a little, you know what? And like, I'm getting there.
You're amazing. You're getting there. And, everybody goes through this, Jack. It's not just you. Most of the people out there, because we've got all these stories in our head, most of us never live up to our full potential. So it's amazing. You talked about success stories. When you have people like you who actually hear and then kind of go, okay, let me get out of my comfort zone and see what happens. And as I said, you haven't scratched the surface yet. You and many of the people I coach, once we help you see all that you are, then it's amazing how you can blossom into what you were meant to be. But we have to get out of our own heads and our own stories first, without question.
Okay, so let's get into this incredible, I appreciate everything you shared so far, but ultimate life tool. So yes. Kay is involved, just to give us a little bit of background, but before you really get into that, I just want to give my experience and share with everybody what that has done for myself and from our teams and leadership. Ultimate life tool, what is that?
So the Ultimate Life Tool is actually an assessment. It's a personality assessment to discover more than who you are. It's also about what you are, right? So let me explain that a little bit. Everybody's familiar with the DISC, Crystal Knows, Myers-Briggs. There's over 3,000 psychometric assessments out on the market today, 3,000. But the question I've always been asked and always the thought of, isn't there more to what we are? And the Ultimate Life Tool actually takes in 7 different components of all that you are. In other words, your eye color means a difference. Your hair color means a difference, the way you're built. And the first time I explain this to people, they go, ooh, it's voodoo. Not at all. If we were all meant to just be our brain, we'd all look like stormtroopers off of Star Wars, right? We'd all look just alike. And yet we all have 2 eyes, 1 nose, 1 mouth, but we're all exceptionally different. That's got to mean something. So I happen to be able to have the great fortune to connect with the people who created this technology to help us go beyond who we are, to help us discover what we are. And when you put those 2 together, the ultimate goal is to help you live up to your full potential in this life as to what you were meant to be.
So a lot of people, again, know the DISC or some other type of a personality assessment. And this is like that on steroids times 1,000. It gets super, super deep. And I brought some incredibly powerful humans and just some people that anytime we have leadership or potential leadership opportunity for our expansion teams, we bring them into Kay, they do the evaluation, and we all talk together. And Kay says, I think that this person might not be a great fit for what you guys are about. Or, hey, this person, here's some super great strengths. These are things we need to be careful of or conscientious of. And so Kay did this evaluation for me, did it for myself, my wife, Kim, and Sarah. And we all get to learn a little bit about each other at a pretty high level. And Kay, I'm okay if you share a little bit about what I'm about, because I think this is something that helped me with my self-belief too, just not understanding what I was.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right. So when I first did the assessment with you, and of course, everybody's always skeptical in the beginning, but let me just tell you, this proven to be 91% accurate. So quick background, it's patented, and it's built on math, science, and nature, where psychometrics are based on what you think. And what you think goes around where you are in your life at the moment, what your experiences in life has been, where you are when you're taking the test. All those things evolve around the psychometric test. This is a physiometric along with a psychometric test, right? So I remember my very first question to you was, do you ever find yourself losing energy in the afternoon? And you said, absolutely. And I could tell by looking at you, you had certain characteristics that tell me if you take a 20-minute nap in the afternoon, you would feel so much better. So Jack, you're taking your quick little 30-minute break in the afternoon.
If I take my 15 to 20-minute power nap, I am refreshed, ready to rock, like kick ass and have my third day. Because I get up at 3-4 in the morning. So I have my first day before most people get into the office. And I have my second day. And that second day, like around that 2:30, take that 15, 20-minute power nap. Sometimes I miss it. And then my third part of the day kind of sucks for most everybody else, including myself. Sometimes I can push through it, but if you do it, it makes a massive difference. What are some other things that you learned about me? Share with these
So that
folks.
was just one thing. So the biggest thing, of course, about you is all when we talk about vehicle or that outer shell, this runs on a scale of 1 to 10, right? 10 being the highest. So I told you when I first met you, you are not even of this world. And people kind of go, what does that mean? If you would compare yourself to a vehicle, you've got people that are kind of middle of the road, they're Toyotas. You've got people that are a little stronger, they're tanks. You know, you're a big, strong, powerful man. We know when you walk into the room, and you hear this all the time, you can look at somebody and intimidate them. It's not your body, it's your body strength, but it's also what you elude. You have a great deal of power about you, right? You have a great deal of organization and structure in you. But then I also laughed at you and said, and you also have quite a temper, don't you? Right? So this is just, and you told me to be open and honest, right? But when we know what we are, then it enables us to help work with the people around us. So you're very strong. You're very committed. You have great ability to make money. You're never going to have to worry about that. You have a great deal of poise and charm about you. For every positive, I don't like to use the word negative, but when we gain energy, there's also the flip side of losing energy. So when we do these assessments and we can look at people and say, when you're in your full power, you see it, you're hard charging, you know exactly what to do. But when you do things that cause you to lose energy, which this often shows, then we can help you recognize it and make sure that you're not doing it, or you recognize it sooner so it doesn't affect you and the people around you. Right? So yeah, when I started, again, it goes back to when I saw your grid, is what we call it. I knew that you were the one person I've ever met that has the power, the strength, the organization, and the structure to create what you wanted to create around the country. And I think that gave you more confidence to do it as well.
It did. And you shared with me, you had other people that are big names in the industry, like big names, like huge names come to you and say, would you help me grow across the country? And you told me, this is what you share with me. Maybe this make me feel good, but you said, no, they were not a great fit for what Kay is about. And they didn't match up with what you just didn't think they were capable, and you didn't want to be a part of that. Yeah. Right.
And I agree. And this technology, we use it with attorneys, helping them with jury selection. We actually help it with hospitals and doctors. I'm here in California. We work with Paramount Studio, making sure the right actors and actresses are fitting together on the movie set. So any place there's a relationship involved, of course, we work with families as well. This is where this assessment goes beyond what you think to how the whole picture of what you are. It's how you communicate, how you download information, where the psychometric tools measure you in 5 or 6 different areas. We look at it in 12 different areas. We've got how your perception of life is, how your fuel tank is, how much power you have to carry you through life's goals. So it does just much more than what you think you're going to do. It helps you in a much larger way perceive all that you are and all that you can do.
So it's helped us make some excellent decisions with leadership and people on our team, and understand how we can best work together. Okay. Right. Like DISC is really good. This is just way beyond that. And like, I want to encourage everybody out here, because I got some other folks that are in the industry that are like, and I use the word stud. It doesn't matter if you're male or female, because like, just you're a killer in the industry. I got some people that are killers in this industry to do the Ultimate Life Tool as my gift to them. And Kay, it was pretty remarkable to see what they were about, and how they like really wanted to go, oh my gosh, can you coach me? Can you help me? Like, and now I know where I'm at, and now where I want to go, and like adjustments can be made. So it's been extremely helpful for us to grow our businesses and bring the right people into our world. I want to encourage everybody out there to get in touch with Kay after watching this and do this assessment. Okay. So we're going to include some information as to how that can happen, and how to connect directly with Kay to do the Ultimate Life Tool, and how she can help you with that evaluation and take yourself to the next level, understand yourself, understand your powers, and how you can build your teams, like having your team do it. Again, we're in the process of doing that for our teammates, and we have it for all of our leadership right now. But again, I want to encourage everybody out there to be a part of this. It's worth the investment all day long, and it's way less than what you might be thinking. You should be charging a hell of a lot more than what you are, Kay. But again, I'll provide that information here so that everybody can, connect with you that way. Okay.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks, Jack. Yes, it's when we're talking about passion, it is one of the things I'm passionate about because it has made a difference in so many people's lives. Certainly with, when you're trying to put teams together, when everybody on the team knows who and what they are, the team just meshes so much faster and so much sooner. It also helps you know who's going to fit down the road and who isn't going to fit. So it's just when there's people put together, this is always going to help people blend better, faster.
Most definitely. Advice that you would give to a brand new agent coming into the industry. They get assigned to Kay, and we touched on this a little bit, but like the first thing you would say to them, what would that be?
The first thing I think I would say to them is to understand they're not a realtor, that they're a CEO of their business. And that's a mindset shift change that they have to accept. Everything that I do, I have to look at this business as if I'm the CEO. So it's not a matter of, do I feel like getting up today? Is it not a matter of, do I want to prospect today? As CEO of my company, I must go do what no one else will do. I've always told myself, when I was in real estate, I used to have this running joke with myself. At the end of the day, I would always ask myself, if I was my only employee, would I have to fire myself because I didn't do my job?
Yeah.
So they really have to wrap their head around what is my job, and that's connecting with people. And I have to be diligent and disciplined to know that I have business hours and I have to work every day at going out and doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Job description in short, prospect, go on appointments, write contracts. That's my only job every day because there's a lot of fluff that comes around us, but it's the only thing that's going to make you money. So you have to stay focused on that. Excellent,
Kay. Again, I'm super grateful that you joined me today here on the Lehr. And one of the things is if this is bringing value to you, I'd ask you to like, subscribe, and share this with your friends, share this with people in your world, because people like Kay and the folks that we bring onto the Lehr, a ton of value. And again, Kay, super grateful. Anything else you want to share with everybody out there as we end up today?
Well, I always appreciate sharing the knowledge of a coach. I've got 20 years of experience. It's always great to be able to pass that along to help one person. Certainly the Ultimate Life Tool, I'm passionate about. I think it changes people's lives as well. So I'm always grateful to be here with you and be in your world and love spending time with you.
Okay. As always, super grateful. Everybody out there, make your day great.